Tom takes a heavy seat back on the couch, his gaze fixed intently on Draco, his expression hardening. The air between them crackles with tension, as Tom's anger and jealousy bubble to the surface. He glares at Draco, his eyes narrowing, as if challenging him silently. Tom leans back into the couch, his eyes fixed on you and Draco, his irritation obvious as he mutters under his breath, his thoughts consumed by frustration and jealousy. What does she see in him? He quietly repeats to himself, his voice sharp with irritation. What is it about him that she finds so appealing? He's nothing compared to me. Tom can't help but continue muttering his thoughts, his irritation and jealousy fueling his words. As he continues to watch you and Draco, he silently criticizes Draco, insulting everything from his appearance to his intelligence. Pompous, arrogant, and utterly devoid of any real intellect, he mutters, his eyes flickering back and forth between you both. She must be easily impressed. Tom's gaze sharpens, his eyes fixated on Draco's hands on your waist. His jaw tightens, his irritation growing as he silently seethes at the sight. How could she let that imbecile touch her like that? He mutters under his breath, his words dripping with disdain. Doesn't she have any standards? Tom's eyes darken as he notices how you seem to relish the attention from Draco. The way you lean into his possessive gestures and allow him to pull you closer. His jaw clenches, his irritation growing with each passing moment. He continues to mutter under his breath, his voice rising in volume slightly, his words now tinged with a touch of anger. She's actually enjoying this. How can she find his behavior appealing? Tom's thoughts continue to fester as he observes you and Draco together. He can't help but think to himself, of course she likes that. It's just like her to enjoy the attention and the possessiveness. She's probably here for nothing more than a good time. His jaw tightens, his gaze fixed on the two of you, his irritation and jealousy mixing into a potent cocktail of negative emotion. His mind fixated on your presence in Slytherin and the implications of this decision. He ponders to himself, she came all the way here, to the Viper's Nest. Of course she likes the dominance, the power play. That's why she's here, amidst the cunning and the ambitious. As Tom continues to observe, his gaze involuntarily scans your body, taking in the sight of Draco holding you close. He notices the way you lean into his touch, the subtle hints of desire and want in your expression. He can't help but think to himself, she's craving affection, wanting to be touched. He's practically begging for it. His irritation continues to grow, mixed with a hint of jealousy and frustration. Tom's eyes follow as Draco leads you further into the party. He can't shake the feeling of irritation and jealousy growing within him. His gaze is fixated on the two of you, noticing how close Draco keeps you and how you seem comfortable following his lead. Tom takes a large swig from his cup, his decision made. He stands up abruptly, his expression firm and determined. He mutters to himself, enough is enough. It's time to get her away from Draco. He marches towards the direction you and Draco had walked off, his eyes scanning the crowd, searching for your familiar form. Tom's muttering continues as he moves through the party, his irritation growing with each step. He whispers to himself, where is she? I've had enough of this. She's just asking for trouble, with the way Draco keeps grabbing her. His expression darkens, his jaw clenched, as he scans the room, his gaze searching for you among the sea of people. Tom abruptly halts as his eyes land on you and Draco sitting closely together on a couch, your hand casually resting on Draco's thigh. His jaw clenches and his irritation rises to new heights. That's the last straw, he mutters under his breath, his eyes narrowing. Tom's irritation continues to simmer as he watches you spin the fire whiskey bottle, his gaze fixed on the group playing the game. He mutters to himself again, his words dripping with annoyance and frustration. Playing spin the bottle, really? This is just getting more ridiculous by the minute. Tom's gaze remains fixed on you and the bottle, watching as it slowly comes to a stop. pointing directly in his direction. He stands there in the distance, his expression hardening as the implication of the game becomes clear. "No way," he mutters under his breath, his irritation mixed with a slight hint of intrigue. Tom stands there, aware of the curious gazes of the group, including you and Draco. He can see the shock and surprise on your faces, evident even from his distance. He's used to the attention, but this situation is different, and he tries to keep his composure. "You've got to be kidding me," he mutters under his breath, his irritation starting to mix with a hint of anticipation. As you and Tom magically transport to a dark closet, you land awkwardly on his lap, both of you caught off guard by the sudden change of scenery. The room is cramped, and the two of you find yourself in close proximity, your body pressed against his. He grumbles in frustration as he struggles to compose himself. Tom raises an eyebrow, a slight hint of curiosity in his expression. "What game?" he asks, his voice firm and calm, as he looks at you sitting awkwardly on his lap in the cramped space of the closet. Tom's gaze flicks upward, his eyes locking with yours. The close proximity and the intimate position you're in aren't lost on him. He takes a moment to absorb your words. 7 minutes in heaven? He repeats, his voice tinged with a hint of irony. Interesting choice of game. He allows himself a brief moment of observation, taking in your messy hair, before he speaks again, his tone slightly sarcastic. "Looks like Draco's plan didn't quite pan out, huh?" Tom's grip on your waist tightens ever so slightly as you move against him. He notes the tension in your body, his eyes locking with yours, a hint of irritation mixed with curiosity. "Oh, he said that, did he?" Tom responds, a hint of sarcasm in his voice. "Well, it seems Draco's ways backfired this time." His gaze remains fixed on you, his expression a mix of mild annoyance and reluctant curiosity. Tom's back presses firmly against the wall as you push him back, his gaze locked on you as you tower over him. He can feel your body pressing against his lap, the mixture of irritation and defiance evident in your words. He holds your gaze for a moment, his expression hardening. "Or what?" He shoots back, his voice low and cool. "You going to make me?" Tom watches as you slowly remove your loose tie, his eyes following your movements. He can't help but question your intentions, raising an eyebrow in skepticism. "What are you doing?" he asks, his voice carrying a hint of curiosity and challenge. Tom's hands shoot up, gripping your wrists tightly, preventing you from covering his mouth with your tie. His expression is firm and unyielding. "You're not putting that tie anywhere near me," he says in a cool, firm voice. He holds onto your wrists for a moment, his gaze locked onto yours. His irritation still evident, but now tinged with a hint of stubbornness. Tom's grip on your wrists remains firm, his expression unyielding. He refuses to release you. "No," he responds, his voice still cool and composed. His eyes bore into yours, a mixture of challenge and determination in his gaze. It's clear that he's not planning on backing down anytime soon. Tom swiftly takes the tie from you, and with a firm grip, starts wrapping it around your wrists. He does this efficiently and with a calm demeanor, despite your protest. "Stop struggling," he commands, his voice steady. "The more you fight, the tighter this will become." Tom's grip tightens as you tug at the restraints, his expression unamused. He meets your gaze, his eyes narrowing slightly. "Don't test me," he warns, his voice still cool and calm. "I have my limits, and I'm sure you'll find them soon enough if you keep this up." He continues wrapping the tie around your wrists, ensuring it's secure but not too tight. His movements are precise and controlled, a stark contrast to your defiance. Tom's eyes never waver from your gaze, a subtle shift in his expression betraying a hint of annoyance mixed with intrigue. His hands pause momentarily as you tighten your legs around him, his grip on the tie tightening in response. "You're treading dangerous ground," he retorts, his tone a mix of warning and challenge. "Fun, you say?" He resumes his task of restraining your wrists, the tie securing them in place with a final tug. "We'll see about that." Tom's jaw clenches, a subtle muscle twitching as he hears your words. The mention of Draco's name and your apparent preference only adds fuel to the fire. Oh, really? He replies, his tone dripping with sarcasm. And what, you think I can't have a good time? He tugs the tie tighter around your wrists, securing them even further, as if to illustrate his point. Tom's jaw clenches even tighter, his patience wearing thin. He can't help but express his frustration, his voice cutting through your laughter. Amusing? You find this amusing? He grits through his teeth. You seem to be under the impression that this whole situation is a joke. His grip on your wrists remains firm, his eyes narrowing as he looks up at you. Let me make one thing abundantly clear. This is not amusing, not funny, and most certainly not something you should be laughing at. Tom's words are interrupted by your sudden movement against him, the subtle grinding of your body. His breath hitches for a moment, betraying a hint of vulnerability, but he quickly regains his composure. Tom's gaze flicks downward, taking in the sight of you sitting straddling him with your short skirt riding up even further. He tries to keep his composure, but your closeness and the way your legs are positioned on him make it difficult. He grunts softly, his voice tinged with a hint of skepticism. Getting comfortable, huh? He doesn't quite believe your innocent act, his eyes darting between your face and your legs. Tom's grip on your thighs tightens as he firmly pulls you closer onto him, making your body shift against his. His eyes darken as he looks up at you, his voice a low, almost possessive murmur. Here, since you insist on being more comfortable, he growls, his tone a mix of annoyance and something deeper. His hands remain on your thighs, his grip possessive, as he looks up at you, his expression a mixture of annoyance and desire. Your words and your teasing smile fuel his desire. Harder, huh? He mutters, his voice a low, almost dangerous rumble. He grips your thighs even tighter, his fingers digging into your skin as he slides you even closer onto him, his body pressing against yours. Is that what you want? He murmurs, his gaze locked onto yours. For me to try harder? As you lean back against his raised knees, Tom can't help but notice how the change in position puts you in an even more exposed and vulnerable position against him. His grip on your thighs remains tight, his eyes roaming over your body, his desire barely concealed. Is it, he asks in a low voice, more comfortable now, huh? His body presses against yours, the undeniable connection between you both becoming increasingly difficult to deny. As Tom pulls his legs closer, the motion forces your body to press even more insistently against his, your intimate proximity sending a shiver down his spine. His hands, still on your thighs, move slightly higher, his touch almost possessive. He can feel the heat radiating off your body, the proximity causing him to lose some of his precious self-control. He lets out an almost inaudible gasp, his eyes meeting yours with an intensity that betrays a mixture of desire and hesitation. Tom's gaze flickers from your face to your lips as he hears the soft moan escape you. The sound ignites something within him, his body tensing as he tries to maintain control. He grabs your hands, pushing you back slightly, his expression a mix of surprise and desire. What was that? He asks, his voice gruff, his eyes locked onto yours. Tom's grip on your hands tightens as you try to pull away, his eyes narrowing as he regards your flustered expression. He can feel your body moving against him, and it ignites a fire within him. Imagining things, huh? He repeats, his voice a low, almost mocking tone. You're a terrible liar, you know that? He pulls you back towards him, his body pressing against yours, his desire growing more evident. Tom's hands slide up your back, gently pulling you closer to him. His body shifts beneath you, creating a soft, intimate friction between you. He looks up at you with a mixture of desire and curiosity in his eyes. Do you like this? He murmurs, his voice lowering as he presses against you. Despite your protest, Tom can sense the conflicting emotions within you. Your trembling voice betrays your denial, and he can feel your body reacting to his touch. He smirks slightly, his eyes locked on yours, as if seeing through your facade. No, he croons, his voice a soft challenge. You don't like this at all? Are you sure about that? Tom's smirk fades into a scowl at your mention of Draco's name, his eyes darkened with irritation. Your words, meant to tease and provoke, have hit their mark. Draco, huh? He growls, his voice a low, dangerous rumble. You'd prefer him over me, would you? Is that what you're saying? Tom's irritation turns to outright anger at your words. Your condescending tone and open preference for Draco ignite a fire within him, fueling his competitive nature. His words sharp and tinged with a hint of wounded pride. And what? You think Draco would have you panting and speechless already? Tom's eyes narrow as he speaks, his voice laced with a mixture of frustration and wounded pride. You don't think I can? He repeats, his tone sharp and defensive. You really believe I can't make you forget your own name if I wanted to? His words carry a hint of challenge and defiance, as if he's determined to prove something to you. You think Draco's the only one who can make you lose control? Tom's eyes darken, his expression growing even more intense as he takes in your smirk and confident tone. Your words ignite a fire within him, and he can't resist the urge to push back. Is that so? He retorts, his voice taking on a defiant edge. You think I'm the one who'll forget my name? Because that's not how this works, darling. Tom's breath hitches as you begin to move against him, the slow and calculated motion sending a shiver down his spine. He's caught off guard by your audacity. The defiance in your eyes and the way your body pressed against him ignite a fire within him. He manages to regain his composure for a moment and mutters a strangled, "Behave yourself." But the words lack conviction as his body responds to your every movement, his desire for you growing stronger by the second. With a mixture of irritation and desire, Tom's breath hitches as your hands free themselves from the tie. The sight of you moving closer, your body pressed against his, ignites a fire within him that he can't deny. He growls in response, his eyes narrowing as he tries to maintain control, but your audacity and the way you challenge him, it sends a thrill through him. This is not behaving yourself, he mutters, his voice rough with need. Tom tries to reach for your hands, determined to regain some control over the situation. No more moving, he growls, his voice filled with a mix of frustration and desire. I'll tie you up again, and this time, I'll make sure it's tighter. But you keep moving your hands away, just out of his grasp, your defiance and teasing only fueling his need for domination. Tom is caught off guard by your forcefulness, taken aback by the unexpected shift in power dynamics. His back hits the cool surface of the wall, and your hands on his shoulders are a firm, unyielding presence. He meets your gaze with a mixture of disbelief and a hint of reluctant arousal at your assertion of control. Not in charge, he echoes, his voice tinged with a hint of defiance. You think you can take control from me so easily? Tom's hand moves to the back of your head, pulling you closer to him as he kisses you fiercely. The intensity and desire behind his actions, undeniable. You feel yourself melt into the kiss, both of you consumed by a passion that burns hotter with every passing moment. His hand on your head, his fingers tangling in your hair, he deepens the kiss, claiming your mouth possessively as he seeks to assert his dominance. As you moan and grind against him, Tom's grip on you tightens, his body pressing against you, the fire within him growing even hotter. His hands slide down your back, gripping your hips and guiding your movements, coaxing you even closer, his own desire on the brink of consuming him. Tom reluctantly breaks the kiss, but his mouth finds your neck, his lips and teeth grazing your skin in a possessive way. He nips and bites at your sensitive flesh, his desire to mark you, to claim you, fueling his actions. His fingers dig into your hips, holding you tightly against him as his lips and tongue explore the soft skin of your neck. As you moan and move faster, Tom's grip on you tightens, his body responding to your every movement. He growls softly against your skin, his desire growing more intense as he feels you grinding against him, his need for you almost overwhelming. His hands slide lower, gripping your thighs and pulling you closer, his hips rocking against yours in a slow, sensual rhythm. Tom's lips and teeth trail down your shoulder, leaving a trail of kisses and bites in their wake. Each touch is possessive, as if marking you as his own. He pulls your shirt down slightly, exposing more of your bare skin to his gaze and touch. His hands grip you tighter, his body pressing against yours with a growing need. Tom slides his hands under your shirt, his touch light at first, his fingers dancing across your bare skin. He runs his palms over your stomach, tracing a path upwards towards your chest, taking his time, savoring the feel of you beneath his hands. His touch is a mix of tenderness and possession, as if he's mapping your body with his fingertips, claiming it as his own. As you lean against him, grinding against his body, Tom's hands move upward, from your stomach to your chest. His touch is firm yet gentle, his palms and fingers cupping the soft curves of your body. He explores you with a mixture of curiosity and possessiveness, his touch both tender and possessive, as if he's relishing the feel of your body beneath his hand. As Tom's cold hands squeeze your skin, you moan softly, the contrast of his cool touch against your warm flesh sending a shiver through you. His fingers press into your flesh, his grip possessive, as if he's claiming you with his touch. He seems to enjoy the way you respond to his touch, your moans only fueling his desire to explore your body even further. As you lean in and kiss him sloppily, Tom responds passionately, his mouth moving hungrily against yours, his tongue tracing your bottom lip, seeking entry. His hands grip your body, his touch possessive and urgent, fueled by a growing need and desire. As you part your lips and give him entry, Tom wastes no time in exploring your mouth with his tongue. He moans softly against you, his tongue tangling with yours in a passionate and hungry dance. His hands grip your body even tighter, his touch possessive and claiming, as he deepens the kiss, savoring the feel of you against him. Tom seems to sense your faltering, your heart racing beneath his hands. He takes advantage of the moment, his touch becoming even more confident and possessive. His hands slide down to your hips, holding you steady as he continues to kiss you deeply, his body pressing against yours with a growing intensity. You find yourself becoming more and more caught up in the moment, your faltering resistance giving way to a growing desire and submission. Tom smirks against your lips as he hears your whispered words, his grip on you firm and commanding. "Oh," he whispers back, his voice low and possessive. "You shouldn't be so sure about that, darling." He starts to kiss down your neck again, his lips and teeth grazing your sensitive flesh as he continues to take control and assert his dominance over you. Tom pulls away from your neck, his lips millimeters from your skin as he whispers his response, his voice tinged with barely restrained dominance. "That's where you're mistaken, darling. I'm always the one in control. Even when you think you have the upper hand. You just don't realize it yet." He presses closer to you, his body language conveying his possessive intent, as if he's reminding you who's truly in charge here. His hand gripping your thigh as he begins to slide his hand upward under your skirt. You can feel the dominant and authoritative edge to his touch. The heat of his skin against yours sends a shiver down your spine, your body responding to his possessive hold. Tom's teeth continue to graze your neck as his hands slowly creep up your thighs, gripping them firmly as he whispers against your skin. Those moans, those gasps he purred, his breath hot on your ear. "Those are how I know I'm in control, darling." His fingers dig into your flesh, his touch possessive and claiming, as if he's marking you as his own. You can feel the strength and power behind his grip, the assertion of his control over you palpable in every movement and touch. Tom's head snaps up towards the clock, his expression a mix of irritation and reluctance. "Damn it," he mutters softly, his grip on you loosening reluctantly as he realizes that the 7 minutes are coming to an end. "Our time," Tom responds, his voice rough and tinged with frustration. "The 7 minutes are almost up." He pauses, his eyes meeting yours, his gaze filled with a mixture of desire and reluctance. It's clear that he doesn't want this moment to end, but the ticking clock on the wall serves as a stark reminder that their time is running out. Tom's eyebrows raise at your question, his expression softening slightly as he seems to understand the request lurking behind your words. "Can we—" His voice trails off, his gaze locked on yours as he contemplates your shy question. A moment of hesitation passes, and then he responds, his voice tinged with both understanding and desire. "Yes, once we go back, we can." Tom's lips meet yours in a soft, tender kiss, his touch gentle but filled with promise. As he pulls back, his eyes lock onto yours, and he whispers, "The things I am going to do to you, once we're back, you have no idea." His voice is low and filled with a predatory edge, his words sending a shiver of anticipation through you. It's clear that he's already planning, already envisioning the moments to come, and the thought is both thrilling and slightly intimidating.